We're going to go per initiative, Prop 1, and we have Lourdes Morales who will begin.
Good evening. I am Lourdes Morales with the Legislative Analyst Office to describe Proposition 1. But before I jump into that, I'd like to sort of very briefly talk about the office's role in reviewing ballot measures. As Kim mentioned, we provide impartial, nonpartisan analysis of ballot measures. These analyses show up in the voter guide that make their way to your mailboxes developed by the Secretary of State's office and include some pertinent background on the topic, describe the measure, and then perhaps most importantly, discuss the fiscal effect on state and local governments. And so with that, I will walk you through our analysis for Proposition 1. So as you all probably know, housing in California has long been much more expensive than in the rest of the nation. On average, a home in California costs about 2.5 times more than it does nationally, and rents are about 50% more. So with that in mind, this proposition authorizes the sale of $4 billion in bond funding, so these are new general obligation bonds, for various housing programs. So if we can turn to the table. So this table outlines how the $4 billion in bonds will be used. A majority of the funds, $3 billion, will be used for various state housing programs. These programs allow for the building and renovation of affordable housing units, the development of infill units, so these are housing in urban areas as well as housing near public transportation. You'll also see some of these funds go for assistance for folks that want to buy homes. So these are generally low or moderate income first-time home buyers for down payment assistance, as well as housing for farm workers. So this portion of the bond will have some fiscal effects for the state. What the fiscal effect will ultimately be will depend on a number of factors, including what the interest rate is when the bond is sold. Generally, our office estimates that this cost will be about $170 million annually over 35 years, so that in total, it'll be about $5.9 billion to pay off both the principal and the interest on the bond. Now, the second component includes veterans housing. So this is $1 billion to provide home loans for eligible veterans. So just like you go to your bank to get a loan for your own mortgage, the state in essence would work as a lender. Over time, the veteran would make monthly payments to pay off that home loan, and that funding will be used to pay off the bond in turn. So this portion of the bond actually operates at no direct cost to the taxpayers. And so I'll just sum up by talking about what this proposal actually means in terms of the number of people that will be able to be helped. In total, this bond will provide about 30,000 multifamily households, so these are about 30,000 rental units, as well as 7,500 farm worker units. We also expect that about 15,000 home buyers will be able to get that home loan assistance, as well as home loans for about 30,000 veterans. So that sums up Proposition 1.
Well done, very, very quick. Okay, so a little more information about Prop 1. So the endorsements for political parties we'll do first. So essentially you have the Democrats on the pro side that are supporting it. You have the official statewide party, but also some other Democratic clubs on the smaller scale. In opposition, the Republican Party and the Libertarian Party and other GOP-oriented groups. We also have in support cities, chamber and business associations, unions, especially unions that have something to do with construction, as you might imagine, and some public employee unions and the League of Women Voters. Also in support, the Sierra Club, Habitat for Humanity, and a whole range of other organizations. And in opposition, there are not groups in opposition. For media, we have sort of a split, the Northern California papers on the support and opposition from some in the South. And then when it comes to funding, we essentially have housing organizations, builders, the sorts of organizations that you would expect might benefit from something like this. And there's not any expenditure so far on the anti side. So it's very lopsided. it's not always the case that measures pass if they have funding and no opposition in terms of spending, but it does mean that we're going to hear a lot more information on the pro side than the con side on this one. All right, oh wait, do we have questions for Prop 1? If you have a question for Prop 1, please go to the microphone. Yeah, go ahead. Isn't?
So the existing housing programs, will all this money be used through the Department of Housing, Community Development?
Yes, it would go through the Housing and Community Development Department, and there would be essentially a competitive grant process to be awarded these funds.
All right, this is your last chance to get the expert to tell you what's what. All right.